Every now and then, urban planning methods are criticized for their negative effects on human health and the environment. One of these solutions is sustainable architecture, which uses environmentally friendly techniques. But can great architectural masterpieces be sustainable? We hope to answer that later in the show. But first, here's this report.
Sustainable architecture emerged back in the 1960s as an alternative model for industrial growth and improved urban life. The aim was to find a solution to the destructive nature of urban development and its effects on the natural habitat of the world. The concept revolves around minimizing the damage buildings can do to the environment. This is achieved by using resources and energy efficiently. The concept has been backed by the United Nations, leading architects and urban designers. Through the UN's involvement, sustainable development has been taken more seriously. Over the last 30 years, agreements committing to it have been signed in Rio, Kyoto, The Hague and Paris. Pledges include: no environmental action should be taken which is not reversible. Designers should use the best scientific knowledge available. Scientists should impart environmental knowledge. One positive development has been a move towards harnessing renewable energy such as solar and wind power. The use of organic insulation material and recycling waste has also progressed. Green architecture, which minimises harmful effects on human health, has become a hot topic as well. Given its eco-friendly nature, which also gives human health top priority, most architects agree that sustainable architecture is the way of the future for housing and other types of construction.
Now, to talk more about this, I'm joined by architect Mehmet Kutukcuoglu. Today, architecture finds itself at a crossroads, really. Modern architectural methods account for a significant sum of the world's greenhouse gas emissions. So does that play in the mind of urban planners when they're thinking of how to, build a city?
Well, of course, but first of all, it's important that we should quit thinking in terms of in anthropocentric terms or self-centric terms. I mean, if we are talking about sustainable living or the environment to live in, we have to quit about thinking first our generation and only our genes. We are living in a world together with so many other organisms or even non-living things, so we have to think about that, even the time scale of these things. Then we can begin to think about in terms of efficiency in these matters.
Just explain what you mean about the change of thinking. How would you like to see the mind frame, the
yeah,
thought?
this is a mind frame. I mean, it shouldn't be only out of necessity, but it should be a mind frame, kind of a philosophy, the way of perceiving life, the world, the universe. Even it could be a matter of joy to think like this in terms of this.
So it shouldn't be reactionary. You should be thinking.
No,
ahead.
it shouldn't be too functional thinking. It should be just philosophy.
So what are some major examples of sustainable architecture that we may recognize from around the world, or even here in Turkey?
I would say, the architecture in the times of, let's say, in the times of survival, I would say, is the threshold of survival, when people were living to survive in cities or in buildings, almost all of them were sustainable. Now we are living in times of extravagant, let's say, attitudes. Everything is extravagant, and that's killing. It's not sustainable at all. So maybe I'm talking about some kind of an impossibility, but we have to remember the times of survival.
And not the times of excess.
Yeah, I mean, in that sense, when we look at all those traditional settlements or buildings, they all had to be sustainable in order to sustain life.
Everything had to be functional.
Yeah,
right.
But today now it's too forced, too functional. Sustainable architecture, sustainable planning. That's kind of, I would say, not a very clever thing to do. But how can we, how can we return back? There's no return back. So we have to remember.
So what are some challenges you face when you're trying to propose a green design?
Well, a green design, let's put it like this. For example, if I'm designing a building double the size, let's say, the real size that would fulfill a function, it would make, my, let's say, innovation, green innovation, would make no sense to reduce the energy by half. First, I have to reduce the building by half, and then I can think about green innovation. So the most important thing is to look at the big picture, and then to be able to convince parties, clients, administrations. This is more than just the architectural task. You have to challenge the brief of architecture.
We'll leave it there, but appreciate your time. Thanks for joining us today.
Yeah, thank you.